Welcome back to IMO Live. Time for another show today. We've got lots planned as usual. We've got a hashtag challenge. We've got a mass debate. That's a big debate we all take part in together. We've got stand up for your club and all sorts. But before we get into it, let's meet today's guests, okay? Joining me on the sofa today, we have none other than Dean from 442oons. You're not in animated form, you're in real life, actual form.
And I have to speak to people. It's a shock.
I know.
Communicate with humans.
It's funny because I can hear the voices of your characters in your voice, but then they're all so different, so you can sort of tell it.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to you about obviously all sorts of different football-related things today. Looking forward to it. And of course, we've got hashtag United's own Mr. Richard Beck, aka the Man Mountain. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problem, pal. No problem. We've got lots to talk about today. Don't forget, you guys can get involved at all points using the hashtag IMOLIVE. We'll get some of the best tweets up on the screen as well, but get involved on Twitter using the hashtag IMOLIVE. We're going to start off talking about two different things from football that have happened over the weekend, and then, of course, we'll do the mass debate where you guys will actually vote in and ultimately decide on something. We'll let you know later what that is, or you might be able to tell from the title of the video already if you're switched on. First off, though, I want to talk about the title race, okay, at the top of the league. Is it over? Chelsea obviously beating Arsenal in a big game. Before we talk about it though, you've actually made a nice little video about it already.
Yes.
Should we take a look?
Yes, why not?
Let's watch this. It's 442oons video / song on Chelsea beating Arsenal.
Stamford Bridge, I'm in the stands.
Come on, Chelsea!
Oh no, Bellerin has been attacked. Been attacked! Been attacked! Bellerin has been attacked.
1-0 Chelsea! Eden Holt, you shall not pass! Shall not pass! Shall not pass! Shall not pass, but I'm world class! 2-0 Chelsea!
Pass to me, please, Peter. Check. Thank you, Check. What the heck?
We kept Courtois and thought you check her. 3-0 Chelsea!
Arsenal fans can suck my balls.
Suck my balls.
Suck my balls!
OMG, what a sexy ball! 3-1 Chelsea! Time for scorpion kicks!
Get back to the center circle, you sexy moron! Damn you, Giroud! And f*** you, Chelsea!
There we go. Dean, well done. Good work. Good work. Fantastic. Before we get into talking about how do you turn that stuff around so quickly?
I've got two guys working for me now, but
Right.
I can make longer videos, but it's pretty much just getting going during the match, scribbling down ideas, and then staying up till stupid o'clock in the morning, 6 or 7,
Yeah.
sometimes going through. But yeah, I've got two animators now, Sam and Mike, so I can kind of just script and record, and they do the animating now, and I just put it together.
Shout out to Sam and Mike.
Absolutely.
So yeah, because like that's the thing. A lot of people, YouTubers, make football videos and they'll have to get the video up really quickly. Like if I go to a West Ham match and I vlog it, I'll try and get it up quickly. Alex helps a lot with that. But an animation is the next level of stuff. You've got to obviously prepare all the actual animation. You've got to do the voices. You've got to do the music.
And it's the idea as well. Sometimes, you know, if they're waiting for an idea or a script, and I'm just sitting there going, what the hell can I do about this match? Something like that's fine because there's a lot went on. Where some of the, you know, earlier in the season there was Liverpool United 0-0. And you're there going, I need to do something, and the match give me nothing. So,
Yeah.
But it's tough, but it's it's good fun getting it out and
Mate, I'm enjoying
hard work.
it. Keep up the good work. I actually featured in one of your animations
Yes.
recently. You did a Dimitri Payet wanted to leave West Ham, and I turned up trying to stop him leaving. Didn't I?
very sad in the doorway. Yeah,
It was accurate. It was accurate. Right, so let's talk about the game itself. Obviously, Chelsea now 9 points clear, comfortable win. The fact maybe they don't have Europe to deal with this season is helping them. Do you think, Rich?
A little bit, but I think they're just ruthless. I think they win the games they should win. And beating teams like Arsenal, for me, is a bonus. It's beating teams, like the lesser teams, home and away.
Yeah.
That's what wins you titles.
And do we think it is over now, the title race? Obviously, it's 9 points, 24 games gone. Still got 14 games left. Chelsea had a reasonably slow start to the season. Even people were even wondering whether Conte was going to work out at first. But since they kind of switched to that 5 at the back, it's just been unbelievable for them. Towards the end of the transfer window, surprise, surprise, picking up David Luiz ended up being a great shout.
who'd have thought that?
Getting him back for cheaper than they sold him as well, so it's a nice bit of business. It seems to be going quite well. So do you think Chelsea have done it?
I mean, obviously there's that party that's so well. There's a lot of games left to play. We've seen it before, but yeah, I think most people would say it's over. The kind of Rafa Benitez arm gesture, it's done.
I think they're 1-7 in the bookies to win the title now, so you're not going to get good odds on it. What do you think, Rich? If Chelsea do slip up, who would it be that would catch them at this stage?
I think that's one of the biggest issues. I don't think there's anybody who is going to catch them because nobody seems to be able to put together a run of form.
No.
You would have said before Christmas, you would have said Liverpool, but they haven't won this year.
It feels like Man City could be the team if anyone wants to do it. They're picking their form together. We're going to talk more about that in the next point in a minute. Arsenal slipping up left, right and centre.
Absolutely, you think that's them. You'd look at Spurs and think they're the ones that could do it if it's anyone. And even City, they've played some good football, but they still scraped that win at the weekend.
Yeah.
So you would look at Chelsea, as you said, they're just ruthless. You think they've got big games. They come through at 4 points out of 6. They play the lesser teams, and they just, sometimes they've not played one. They just looked in complete control.
And it's not just, it's not just the fact that they're making these wins and stuff like that, but even if they collapse, it needs the other teams to keep picking up the points as well. It's two things you're asking. Manchester United have had a great run without losing, but they haven't actually gone up the table. So they've still got a lot of work to do on that front. What is the target for the other teams now then? I imagine in the camps of those clubs, they're probably thinking the title's beyond us. Tottenham, I presume, would be really happy with second 2 years in a row. That'd be decent. And they ended up finishing third last year, didn't they? They should have finished second last year.
Their aim is to finish above Arsenal and,
Adam, the Tottenham fan, Adam is in my ear saying, all right, mate, thanks for that. But that was actually a genuine mistake. I forgot they didn't finish second. City could finish second, realistically, and I think ultimately, despite their amazing start to the season, that would be quite good considering what's happened recently. But Arsenal just need to hold on to top 4 again.
I think it's Arsenal, United and Liverpool. You're probably looking at panicking about that fourth place. You'd expect City, Spurs and who's top?
Chelsea,
of course, yeah. I'm thinking, who am I missing? I'm going up 4-3-2. Yeah, you'd expect them to just be top 3 in that fourth place. Arsenal, United, and Liverpool.
It's going to be a good battle.
It's going to be mental. Yeah.
We've got some tweets on the Chelsea subject. Let's have a look. See what you guys are saying at home using hashtag IMOLIVE. Lee is saying, I think Chelsea have it in the bag now, but not being the Champions League's definitely helped. And that's still to come because obviously the second phase of Champions League games is going to come round soon. And again, that won't be a problem for Chelsea. But then even with Arsenal, these guys, they're probably going to get knocked out pretty quickly. Arsenal, they've got Bayern Munich. But if they don't, that's going to help Chelsea anyway, because Arsenal are going to have more games. And if they do, their season's going to be maybe derailed again, low confidence. Yeah. Man City are going to have to deal with it. So it's just
I think the Champions League could really affect Leicester's title push as well. I think that really...
We'll talk about Leicester
really affect their title running.
Yeah, Champions League's going to hurt a lot of teams. Let's have a look at another tweet. We've got something else to take a look at. Freddie Evans. It's not over yet, but it's only a matter of time until the other teams admit they're all playing for second place. So yeah, mathematically, obviously, we've seen big comebacks before. I remember 2011-12 season, Man City were 8 points behind Man United, I think with only 8 games to go, and they turned it round. So 9 points, 14 games, could definitely...
It certainly can be done.
Yeah.
I think you also look at Chelsea's running though, and they've got Man City and Man United, I think, left.
Yeah, they're only real games.
Yeah, and as we said, they're not being in the Champions League. It's going to be, you wouldn't bet against Chelsea.
No. Well, let's move on to our next topic then, which is Manchester City, as we've been talking about it already. We've got to talk about Gabriel Jesus, right? He's banging in the goals. He's been there 5 minutes. He's taken no time to adapt to the Premier League. We've seen quality strikers struggle to adapt. We've seen quality strikers like Torres move from one team in the Premier League to another and struggle to adapt somehow. This guy's just come in, young kid, unbelievable. How good is this guy going to be, do you think?
I think before we answer that, you've got to start with a Jesus-related pun.
Oh, we're going everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, that's part of the course, isn't it?
The thing is, Jesus Navas has been at Man City for ages, but I feel like I don't know if they were around before, but I feel like they're all coming out again. So he's scoring lots of goals, but Aguero on the bench, I mean, is Pep trying to make an example of Aguero like he did with Joe Hart?
Well, I think any good team needs 2 strikers. 2 proper strikers, and to have Aguero as your backup is obviously a massive thing. Aguero is obviously a great striker, but at the moment Jesus is coming in and nobody really knows anything about him.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if he's still doing it in a year's time. Then I'll take my hat off to him. But at the moment, nobody really knows who he is. Nobody knows how to play against him. Nobody's analysed him. He's taken advantage of that. Fair play to him. But in a year's time, if he's still doing it, then he'll get the credit.
I suppose the bold thing is that it's not like he's had a few substitute appearances, a few cup games. He's pretty much arrived and Aguero's benched, and that's where you're kind of looking at. It's not like a gradual thing. It's kind of like it must be a real kick in the teeth to Aguero. And with the Joe Hart kind of scenario so far, you just think it's a bit risky for Guardiola to be kind of really looking like he's almost beginning to put him out the door, put Aguero out the door.
I mean, Aguero's still been scoring goals this season.
Yeah.
Like when he's played, I know he's had a few issues, he's been banned a couple of times, but when he plays, he scores goals. And it's a big statement to drop him to the bench. Aguero's come out and it sounds like he doesn't want to leave, but he's sort of intimating that if City don't want him, he's going to have to make a move. And there's a load of clubs, I'm sure, that would love to take him. Little stat for you here, provided by Adam. Work rate. Gabriel Jesus in his last game covered 10.8 kilometres, which is more than Aguero has in any game this season or last season. So maybe
crazy.
that work rate is what's doing it for Guardiola. Drops a little bit deeper than maybe Aguero does, who plays further forward as the kind of poacher. Maybe Guardiola likes that in him. I think it's going to be interesting what happens with Aguero, because it doesn't matter what he says now, he will not want to play second fiddle. He's a top quality striker, probably one of the top 5 Premier League strikers in Premier League history, I'd say. Yeah. The amount of goals he scored, that Aguero moment, of course. But if he was to leave, where could he go? Who would take him?
I think it's who wouldn't take him.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, to be fair, he's only been at Atletico Madrid and Man City, hasn't he? He hasn't actually been to, and I know Atletico Madrid and Man City are big clubs, but he hasn't been to one of the traditional big boys.
No.
But would he get in? Probably Real Madrid.
Well, if Real Madrid do offload Benzema or Morata, you could see a spot for him there. Yeah. Could another Premier League club take him? Would he move to another Premier League club?
There's talk of Chelsea, isn't there? And you just don't know whether it's talk again or trying to unsettle Man City. But he seems quite a loyal, but he doesn't seem one of the kind of players that would, be disrespectful.
You think he'd ever do the Manchester switch?
I don't know.
Imagine at Man United.
I think Mourinho would probably go for it just for the psychological effect of it.
I think to be fair to him, I think he just wants to play. And, and it could be a masterstroke from Guardiola. If he gets an Aguero chomping at the bit to get back in the side, and you've got him up against Jesus and they're competing, that's dangerous.
No, I agree. I just feel like City's problem this season hasn't been their goals. It's been the conceding of goals, the defence. That wasn't really addressed in the January transfer window. Vincent Kompany coming back might help a little bit. But
another one you can't count. And maybe that comes into it with Aguero just being, the 4-game ban, the injury thing. Maybe he's just... he just wants another striker.
They haven't got a plethora of strikers at City.
No.
Like, there's no reason why they couldn't both play. They've got enough games to get through. They could both play a role, and maybe he will play them together. We'll see. But we've got some tweets on the subject of Gabriel Jesus. Is Jesus or Jesus? What are we going with?
Isn't it Jesus because he's Portuguese?
We're going with Jesus.
I feel like we should just call him Jesus.
All right, we'll meet in the middle. We'll go Jesus. Jesus shows a lot of potential for Man City.
Thierry Henry's Terry Henry to me.
Shows a lot of potential for Man City, but I think Pep will not totally drop Aguero from the team yet. So he's saying it's maybe a temporary adjustment. Let's take a look at another tweet. That was from Hatim. This one is from BMK TV. I feel sorry for Aguero, but damn, this Jesus guy is a baller, and there's no denying that. Very young, smashing it. £27 million in today's market. That's a bargain, right?
Yeah, I mean, certainly look at if he's there for the long term, like the Rooney thing, isn't it? 30 million at the time, and even compared to that, it does looks like they've stolen him for that. If he turns out, as you said, you look at it in a year's time rather than 3 or 4.
I'll remind you of when Papi Cisse came to Newcastle and scored 13 goals in 13 games.
Yeah,
and he now plays in China.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He's probably doing all right, though. All right, let's move on to the mass debate. This is the big one. This is one you guys get involved in. You can click the I button in the top right-hand corner and you can have your say. Before you do that, let us talk about it first, because we want to try and maybe convince you one way or the other, and we'll see what we come up with. So today's mass debate is all about Leicester City. Champions of the Premier League, okay, current reigning champions. But every week that goes by, it looks like they're getting more and more sucked into a relegation battle, okay? Are we going to see the first reigning champions to be relegated from the top flight? I think since 1938. And it was Manchester City, actually, who did that back then. First and foremost, so the question is, are Leicester going to go down? We need you to vote on it. We need you to give us your opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, for me, looking at the league table, it looks like Sunderland are getting their act together a little bit. It looks like Hull and Swansea are getting their act together. I'm trying to see who will definitely go down, and I'm struggling. I mean, Palace got smashed on the weekend, but they've got Big Sam at the helm. Leicester on form are the only ones that really jump out to me as a team that are on terrible, terrible run.
Yeah, I mean, terrible run. They haven't scored in 5, is it?
Haven't scored this year.
Yeah, the rumours coming out, discontent. You've got people. That's the one. The whole story around Leicester at the minute seems to be the one that you think, a point above relegation, that they could just now completely collapse and go down, which would be crazy.
Rich, you know all about teams getting relegated, obviously, as a Newcastle fan. Do you think Leicester are going to go down?
I think they probably are, yeah. And I don't really want them to go down, but at the end of the day, they gave some of their star players last year some big old contracts.
Yeah.
And last year those players were hungry. This year they're Premier League champions. They've got their big contract. They ain't got anything to play for. Take that on top of losing Kante.
Yeah, and of course they've still got the Champions League to come, which they have been doing well in. They were doing really well in the Champions League.
It's down to motivation, isn't it?
Maybe that's what it is. The players, it's a new competition for them, so they do feel hungry. Let's talk about Kante, who touched on there. How much was he the reason they won the league last year? Because he's gone to Chelsea, and it's basically been the signing of the summer 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
He's gone to Chelsea, who are obviously top of the league, looking like they're going to win. I mean, obviously Mahrez and Vardy and a number of people played a huge part, but was Kante the real reason they won the league?
Well, I think he gave a massive amount of protection to what is a very average back four.
Yeah.
Very average. And like I said, I'm not one to beat up the little guys, but Morgan and Hoof, let's be honest, which other top 4, top 6, top 8 side are they going to get in?
Yeah.
Not many. And
there was a great quote from Koscielny, I think. I think it was one of the French newspapers asked him how he felt about not being the Premier League Team of the Year, and does he rank himself one of the best centre-backs? And he said, the problem with the Team of the Years is you have to win titles to get in there. I mean, is Morgan better than me? That's what he said, apparently.
Well, that's it, isn't it? But that's fair enough.
Yeah. So Kante's obviously left. Vardy had a chance to leave to Arsenal. Big move would have been for him. Who knows how he would have done there. Obviously, last year was a fantastic season for him. But he stayed. And do you think that was a mistake?
I don't think, I mean, at the time you wouldn't think so, and obviously he's staying there because he's still got that hunger. You'd think if he felt that chapter was closed, the perfect chance to move on. And I mean, he's been in and out the team, and I think that Ranieri thing that he didn't do last year has come back a bit this year, where he's, Moose has been in and out, and he keeps changing it so much that
he had to because of the Champions League this year, though, right? He had to play the same 11 in all those competitions. Never would have worked.
But it's not even the same 11 though. He's made wholesale changes, tactical changes, where it's just whether that, and also like saying there's rumours coming out. You don't know whether it's a sinking ship there, but that people aren't getting on with him. There's certain discontent in the camp and all that, and you just think, is it because of that? But certainly the Kante thing is huge because as he's proven this season, he's just everywhere. He's immense.
I mean, for me, people are talking about Ranieri potentially getting the sack. For me, if you win the league with Leicester, let's be honest, if Leicester had finished 9th, he would have been a hero in Leicester. If they'd got in the Champions League spots, he would have been a hero. He won the league. For me, if that doesn't buy you at least one season, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's not going to plan, but you've got to stick it out with him, I think. Unless, we have seen it happen before, if you do just lose the dressing room, there's no chance they're going to play for you. You have to make that change as soon as possible. Mourinho at Chelsea, for example.
I think their position this year is actually a credit to him, because it shows you how well he did last year with what is essentially quite a poor side. Because that side hasn't changed that much. I know they've lost Kante, but it hasn't changed that much. And now you're seeing them, they're dropping right off. But
for me, they're playing more to par this year than they were last year. They were so far above what was expected. I don't think they should be playing around the relegation zones, but I still think their squad isn't a top 4 squad by any means.
But even you look at somebody like Okazaki, he was brilliant, and all of a sudden you get Slimani coming in, and like you said, Musa, and you've lost that drive there. And I think it's just changes like that where they've tried to step up and strengthen, and actually it's backfired. Well,
they've paid big money for those players, whereas before, like Mahrez, they paid nothing for him.
Yeah.
Kante, they paid nothing for him. But
let's talk about that though, because that was a great scouting system they had in place, and that scout was actually poached by Arsenal, the person that got those players in. They tried to get Vardy and they couldn't get him, so they thought, well, we'll take the scout then. No, so maybe that some of the small parts, but integral parts of what made Leicester champions it has left them, and it's cost them big time. But ultimately, I mean, Musa, you touched on it, 11 games without a goal. Mendy was the replacement for Kante, and he's not done it. We've got some tweets to look at. Let's see what everyone else thinks about the Leicester situation. William Jeffrey says, Ranieri, is he running out of ideas? That Leicester side was abysmal yesterday. They were abysmal. Is it about running out of ideas? Is it about not having the personnel? Is he made the stick for his own back, essentially, by having such a good year last year? I mean, we saw it with Mourinho. Okay, he was managing a team that was expected to do things, but he won the league with Chelsea, and within 6 months into that second season was sacked because he lost the dressing room. And if you lose the dressing room, it doesn't matter who you are, you've got to make the change.
I think the difference is there, though, they seem to have quite classy owners, Leicester. They seem to be they're doing things with a lot of integrity. So I think, like you're saying, if that buys you a season, if anyone's going to let him see it through for another season, you'd think it's their owners rather than the kind of Chelsea hierarchy, which seems to be a bit more higher and fire with it.
A bit more brutal, yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Don't forget, guys, to vote. Click the I button. Let us know, are Leicester going to get relegated? We'll reveal the results of the vote at the end of the show. Let's take a look at one more tweet. See what else we got to come in from Dylan McHugh. He says, Leicester will not get relegated. Vardy hasn't started his party yet. It's the pre-party, right? Once the party gets started.
I think he's still hungover from last year's party.
That could be the case. I mean, we've seen him struggle for goals this season. I know he had a hat-trick and he once or twice he's popped up, but generally been pretty poor. I think he's been a little bit exposed, perhaps. I think maybe he's not the player that... It's all about hunger for him. It's about tenacity. It's about aggression. And when it comes to a team relying on his goals and not having quality around him, it gets difficult.
I think it's also about he's also about counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
And last year, Leicester, they were probably, everybody thought, relegation fodder. Let's go out and attack them.
Which is why he said he didn't want to go to Arsenal.
Yeah, and it's the counter-attack football, and that suits Vardy down to a T. When they take control of a game, and that's, for me, that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't have had him in the England squad.
Yeah.
Because England control
You wouldn't have
games.
had him in the squad at all?
Well, I probably would have had him in the squad, but
Yeah.
I would not have played him against lesser teams, because when you're controlling the game, Vardy is not I'm going to beat 3 players and stick it in the net. He's
keep possession.
ping the ball over the top.
Would you
And I'll
take
get a goal.
John Joe Shelby instead?
Of course.
All right, we don't need to listen to you then. Right, before we move on, are Leicester going down? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rich is saying yes, Dean.
Yes.
We've got a couple of yeses. I actually think they might as well, you know. We're all saying yes. What are you saying? Click the I button, vote top right of the screen, and we'll reveal the winner, or not the winner, but the decision at the end of the show. Okay, moving on. We're going to do our Super 6 preview. Super 6 are our partners for the show. Every week we make 6 predictions based on 6 games coming up on the weekend. We did it last week, of course, and we revealed that whoever won the league for last week would get a PlayStation 4. Okay, so we can reveal first and foremost who's going to get that PlayStation 4. Abdi Gileo, 18 points. That is 4 correct results and 2 correct scores from 6 games. So that means he got every 6 right. Maybe not the scores completely right, but what was going to happen. Bang on. So fair play. You can see I came 46th in the league last, and that wasn't even a bad week, really. I got 1 correct result, 2 correct scores completely. 12 points is okay, really, but 18 is unbelievable. So fair play to Abdi. Absolutely smashed that. I'll have a look at my my scores from last week. Actually, I've got them on here. So I said there was actually 2 game weeks last week, so the midweek games. So we were making the predictions for the Wednesday night games, or the Tuesday night games actually. So Arsenal, I got wrong. I said Arsenal beat Watford 2-0. They lost 2-1. Abdi predicted that somehow. I don't know how he got that.
Good insider.
Unbelievable from Abdi. Bournemouth, Palace, I said 1-0 Palace. It was 2-0, so I got 2 points for that one. Burnley, Leicester, I said 1-0 to Burnley, and it was 1-0 Burnley. I got that exactly right. Middlesbrough, West Brom, I said 1-0. I got that exactly right as well. It was 1-0. But then I thought Tottenham were going to beat Sunderland 3-1. It was 0-0. And I thought Swansea, Southampton was going to be 2-2, and it was 2-1. So I got that one wrong. But I did get the golden goal, which is where you have to predict what minute the first goal will be. And I said 6th minute, as I do every week. And it was the 6th minute, James Morrison for West Brom. So it's not a bad week for me.
Impressive.
But room for improvement. But Abdi's going to get himself a PlayStation 4. Absolutely fantastic. Now it's time for us to make our predictions for the upcoming 6 games. Starting off with Manchester United versus Watford. You can see the form here. You can see 94% of the voters so far have gone with a Man United home win. Surely we've got to do the same, guys.
Yeah, I think so.
We're in agreement about that. They haven't lost a game for, I think, 16 matches, something like that. We're going to go for a Man United win, and I'm going to say 2-0 Man United for that one. I'm happy with that prediction. Yep. Okay, Middlesbrough, Everton. Slightly harder to predict, although 80% going for the away win here. A couple of losses for Middlesbrough in their last 6 games, only the one for Everton. Everton's form does seem to have picked up a little bit. They had a decent January transfer window. What are you thinking on this one?
Well, you'd say Middlesbrough won't score because they haven't been, but then you look at Everton, was it 5-3 at the weekend?
Yeah.
So you'd certainly say Everton to win. I don't know, maybe look at a 3-1, something like that.
Okay, Rich,
I think a score draw. I think
score
a
draw.
1-1.
Interesting.
I think a 1-1.
I'm leaning towards the draw only because I've got some catching up to do. I talked about this last week. 80% have gone for that. I need to go for something different.
Okay.
So I'm going to go. I understand the logic, Dean, but I'm going to go for 1-1 draw there. Middlesbrough, Everton. We'll see what happens. Stoke, Palace. Very difficult teams to predict actually at the moment. Both dropping in and out of form. Stoke have obviously had a better season thus far. Palace, I do think, are going to start picking up points. But I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I'm actually going to go Stoke to win this one, I think. I think I'm going to go Stoke to win 1-0.
I think he had them in training at 7 o'clock in the morning, didn't he, on Sunday, Sam? So they might be too tired.
Exactly.
Yeah, might have punished them all week.
I think they're going to get a point.
You just think they'll get a
Yeah,
draw?
I think it will be 2-2.
The worst thing about that was them getting smashed by Sunderland was the fact that he'd just brought Van Arnholt off Sunderland, played him in his new system and got absolutely torched.
Van Arnholt said they're a better team here. Crystal Palace have got a better squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, backfired a bit, Patrick.
Speaking of Sunderland, Southampton is the next game. A lot of L's there, but 3 wins in a row for Southampton in the league is decent. Obviously, they did get upset quite badly in the FA Cup by Arsenal, but that was a different squad. Having said that, 46% of people are going for a Sunderland home win. I'm actually going to say the same. I think Sunderland are going to do it at home. I think they're going to start picking up points now. You never know what you're going to get with them. Equally, I feel the same with Southampton. But I'm going to say 2-1 to Sunderland in that one, I think.
I would have said 2-1 as well.
Yeah,
you agree?
Southampton lost the last 3, haven't they, as well? So it's the last 3 games they've lost. So they're definitely looking at a dip in form.
Just been corrected, actually, by the way. These are the other way around. So these are actually the latest results.
Yeah,
so they've had 3 losses in a row.
3 losses, yeah.
So that actually makes more sense. So based on that, you would say Sunderland to win anyway. So maybe that's why 46%
and
have got
maybe a bit of the mind on the Carling Cup or EFL Cup now.
Yeah, they've got a final to play, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is my team, West Ham versus West Brom. West Ham have picked up their form a little bit, albeit they're getting smashed by Man City, of course.
Didn't help.
Didn't help at all. But West Brom have probably been the surprise package of the Premier League so far. Massively. I thought they were going to be lingering around the relegation zone, but they've absolutely smashed it. Chadley, Phillips, Rondon, unbelievable. What do you guys think's going to happen here?
I think a score draw. I think you both concede goals. I think you may nick it. You may nick it based on the fact that you got 3 points the other day.
60% of people think West Ham will win. What do you think, Dean?
I can't come on the show and say West Brom are going to beat West Ham tonight, so I'll go for a West Ham.
You can?
Yeah, no, I'll do the political decision and say West Brom will win 4-0.
I've got to think with my head here, not my heart. I am going to go for 0-0. I'm going to say 0-0. That's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then Burton Albion in the Championship. Brighton up there at the moment, pushing for a promotion potentially. Burton not having as good a season. It's at Brighton. But Brighton's form has begun to drop, as we can see here. A draw and 2 losses in their last 3 games, whereas Burton have picked up a couple of wins. What do you guys think on this one? Your Championship football is your speciality right now, Rich.
I think Brighton will probably win. Burton, they had a good result the other day, but Brighton, they need to get back to winning ways, and I think they will. Chrissy Hughton's a good manager.
Yeah.
You'll get them back on track, yeah.
Dean, you going?
Yeah, I'd go Brighton 2-0.
I'm going to take your word for it, mate. Brighton 2-0. Let's stick it in. That will be our prediction, and I'll go with the golden goal prediction to be the 6th minute, as I do that every week. Okay, so that's what we're thinking for Super 6. Don't forget, you guys can get involved as well. There's a link in the description to not only get the app, which is completely free to download, but you can also enter my league, and you can directly compare yourself to how I'm doing every week and how the other guys, people like Abdi, who absolutely smashed it and got himself a PlayStation 4. Well done to you, sir. So check out Super 6 in the description. Right, let's move on. Coming up, we've got a very special guest to join us. Another guest, actually. This weekend, I had the privilege to go to Paris for the EA Sports FIFA Ultimate Team Regionals Final. I was working there as part of the presenting team. But also, in my other hat, as Hashtag United, we had some players representing us over there. We had Boris Legend, we had Harry, of course, from the Game Academy, and another man called Hashtag Tass, who absolutely smashed it and won the whole thing. He's going to be joining us in a second, but first of all, let's take a look at a little clip from what went down. This is coming from a vlog that will be going on this channel tomorrow. Let's have a look what happened in Paris.
Hashtag Tass going through.
Yes, well in, son.
Against Marlon and qualifying for Berlin, more importantly.
Fantastic work from him.
Get in, mate.
Didn't lose his cool.
Awesome, buddy.
To his game stop. Okay, guys, so Tass has won the Xbox side, which is fantastic. $20,000 coming his way. But now it's time for the grand final. Him versus the winner of the PlayStation side. Another $10,000 up for grabs. He's kicking off big time.
Come on, Tass.
Tass has won the first leg on his home console, the Xbox 3-0, which means he's got a clean sheet going into the away leg on the PS4.
If he scores 1, he has to score 5.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, he's got 90 minutes.
If he can do this, it'll be incredible. Come on,
He can score 3 goals that quickly in this game, as long as he gives...
Welcome back, everyone, to my favorite part of the handing of the trophy to the winner. So to help me honors, it's there we go, the ceremonial style. Let's have a round of applause for our champion. Very well played indeed. All right, we have
Yeah. You didn't forget.
Quality. Top quality from this man right here. Hashtag Tass. Show us your trophy, mate. Show us the shield.
There you go.
Look at this. Can we touch it? Can we pass it around?
Do what you want with it.
Be gentle with it, guys. Be gentle. I mean, look at this. You could eat your food off that. Dean, have a touch of it. Enjoy it. Talk to me about that moment, Tass, when you won. How did it feel?
Absolutely buzzing, to be honest. I mean, you can imagine. I headed into it. Obviously, my goal was to win, but my main goal was to try and get top 4. For people that are aware, you go to another tournament. So once I did secure the top 4, I did think I've got to go all the way now because I was just filled with confidence. So to actually do it though is a bit, different than thinking you're going to do it. So.
Of course, and we've known each other for a long time. You've been in the competitive FIFA scene for a long time as well. How did it feel to kind of get that feedback and that moment you've been working for so long, having won, basically, and ranking right now being the best player in Europe?
Right. I mean, I know my competitors and stuff have always respected me and said I'm a top player, but I always wanted to have that huge achievement to have beside me. So a huge achievement, and this was the biggest event to date. All players agreed that it was the biggest event to date, so to end up, winning the whole thing is mad.
Let's not forget as well, he picked up $30,000 in the process. Not too shabby, Alonso. Rich, you said you were watching him online and you were inspired. Rich actually went online and tried to put it on all manual controls on FIFA. What happened?
I was about 3-0 down in 5 minutes. It's actually an improvement. I'm normally 4-0 down in 5 minutes. So.
Not many people know this. Me and Rich, one of the first things we bonded over when I met him at uni, he was my neighbour in halls and I saw him going into his room next to me. I think he had a PlayStation, didn't he? It was an Xbox, can't remember which one. And I was like, oh, have you got FIFA? Oh, it was Pro Evo back then.
Yeah, Pro Evo.
And I was like, oh, we can play together. And that's how we started. And I used to beat you regularly on that.
Yeah.
Dean.
We'll tell it that way.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. I don't know if you saw any of the stuff on the weekend, but this guy, I mean, I don't know if you get to play any FIFA or not if you're a fan, but I don't know how you get on when you play against your mates or whatever. I'd say within my mates, I'm one of the better players and I usually beat them, but I know for a fact how much higher level this guy is. Playing your 40 games on the weekend on FUT Champions and regularly winning 40 out of 40.
That's mental.
I mean, can you ever imagine doing something like
that? No, not with my style of football on FIFA, which the new one, the scoring seems to be so hard and you've got to be, it's just more of a simulation now than a kind of an arcade. So I certainly would get a good spanking.
Yeah, he's done very well. Tass, we've got some questions from the guys watching, if you don't mind answering them.
Of course.
All about what happened on the weekend. Let's take a look at the first one. It's from Cameron. He says, who was your toughest opponent throughout the tournament? So you played some top quality players.
Right.
Who challenged you the most?
I'd say 2 players. I'd put rank beside each other. I'd say in the group stage, Dax. So
Dax,
a PSG player.
That's a PSG official esports player. They're 2 players at the event, of course.
Him and Aggie. And Dax, and then Rocky, definitely.
Rocky, yeah.
So,
Rocky, who you beat on the Xbox final, wasn't it?
Right. I'd say the Dax game was actually more important in the tournament because it was for me to get through the group. But to win the tournament, the Rocky game was more important. But to do well in the tournament was the Dax game.
Yeah.
And I was near the beginning of the tournament, so yeah. Them 2, I can't really put them apart, but I had some wars with Rocky, so I'd have to say probably Rocky.
Both very, very key games to your progress in the tournament. And we should point out as well the lack of goals you actually conceded, especially into the final. I think you only conceded 1 goal, was it?
1 goal and 19.
Unbelievable. It's the top flight. What a man. Let's take a look at another question here. From Freddie. Freddie says, when you were younger, did you know that you wanted to be playing FIFA when you were older? Because when you were younger, this wasn't a thing, really, was it?
No. Well, I came into it in 2012. There was a tournament in New York. It was a crazy prize money on the line. First was $160,000. So as an 18-year-old, I was playing on the website that you qualified through online, and I just thought, I qualified for it, and people said I had a good chance of doing well, so I went there. Ended up losing to the guy who ended up winning eventually, Adam Winster.
Yeah.
And but even after that, I wasn't too sure if it was going to be something that I'd progress and do. I was going to go university and I'd done my A-levels and I sort of just chilled and haven't gone to uni, so just doing this for now.
Yeah, I think the people that have gone, your mates have probably thought you're having a shocker, now seeing you just pick up $30,000. Because we should talk about the fact, you mentioned it earlier, by finishing the top 4 you qualified for this big final in Berlin, where there's a lot more money up for grabs. How are you feeling about Berlin?
Obviously just normal thing to say, just full of confidence. I'd say I'm more interested to see who joins me from Europe.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's the whole world will be there, players from all over the world. I'm more interested to see the other 4 players that join from Europe to see what the main competition will be. But yeah, the prize money is jolted up considerably. So
what's the grand prize for Berlin?
First is 160.
160,000 smackaroonies. Guys, that's a lot. But Tass, you're in a great position, obviously, to go and get that. And touching on that other tournament you mentioned, Adam obviously won one side of it, but I think it was it hashtag Boras on the other side of it. It's another hashtag United player.
Actually, it was the same tournament a year later.
A year later, right, okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a great team going together, haven't we? We've got Tass, currently the best player in Europe. We've got Ivan, who is, I think, to date, the top, or if not one of the top earners in the history of competitive FIFA. Correct. And then obviously hashtag Harry did really well, finished 5th overall in Europe, and it's his first ever tournament. So you feeling good about the team?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm hoping they can join us in Madrid. I'm confident they will. Give them as many tips as they want from me, and hopefully we'll be in Berlin. I
think a lot of people want some tips from you. And if you want some tips from Tass, check out his YouTube channel. There's a link in the description. You do some sort of tutorials, you open your packs, you get from your rewards from doing so well online. So it's a great channel. Check it out. I think we've got one more question for Tass coming up. It's from Nabi DZN. He says tips on how to become a professional FIFA player. If you had to boil it down to maybe one piece of advice, someone wants to get better at FIFA, what should they do?
I think initially when you're playing, I think maybe with your friends and stuff, actually see if you are better than them. And then other than that, I think the number one thing I'd say is just hard work. A lot of hours on a consistent basis. You can't just play like for a week and then scrap it for 2 weeks. So if you're coming up and you really want to do this, it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of hours. I'm sure that's with anything in life. So
of course,
hard work.
You get what you put in. Tass, congratulations again. Smashed it. Hashtag Tass, everybody. Well done, mate. Legend. Right, next up we have one of my favourite segments. Okay, it's called Stand Up for Your Club. Stand Up for Your Club. It's where 2 stand-up comedians take each other on, essentially trying to mug each other off, taking on, using sort of things that have happened at the opposing team as a little base for their comedy. Today we've got Si Thomas, who's representing Wickham. It's a big one this week because we've also got Lenny Sherman, who's representing Millwall. Okay, Millwall versus Wickham. Who do you think's going to win this one, Rich?
I'm going to go for Wickham.
He's going for a Wickham win.
Millwall.
Dane's going for Millwall, Tass.
Yeah, don't mess with Millwall, I'd say.
Okay, let's find out what happens. Si Thomas versus Lenny Sherman. This is Stand Up for Your Club.
Right, Len, so we do rock, paper, scissors, so who goes it first,
Cool.
right? Yeah. Of course, Millwall fans used to using rock and scissors. Here we go, ready? Oh, that's me. All right, okay, first blood, here we go. So the word Millwall has got 4 L's and a W in it, which is pretty much your form every 5 games.
Well, Wickham are nicknamed the Chair Boys and the Blues, right?
Yeah.
The Chair Boys because they're famous for making furniture.
Good, yeah.
And the Blues because that's what you get if you watch Wickham.
Right. So Millwall away is such a terrifying fixture that if you Google best places to go for a drink before the game, it just comes back with a picture of your own house.
Yeah, but you lot are a load of toffs from Buckinghamshire, right? Millwall's arch rivals are West Ham, whereas your main enemies are the anti-fox hunting brigade.
Nice. You are Millwall, super Millwall, no one likes you, you don't care. But actually, you do care due to deep-seated emotional issues.
Correct.
Hold me, Len, hold me.
But you lot ain't doing too clever this year, are you?
No, we're doing all right.
Well, I don't know. I think you've got about as much chance of getting promotion this year as Hillary Clinton's presidential election team.
Nice.
Political. Satire,
all right.
Thank you.
Of course, that We Are Millwall chant is to the tune of Sailing by Rod Stewart. So an ageing London dinosaur that's not as good as it used to be and struggles to sell tickets, and Rod Stewart.
Very good. I think you'll find the Rod Stewart song is Copied Us.
All right, okay, fair enough, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Come on, then.
But Wickham's ground capacity is 9,617, which coincidentally is the same amount what your team's worth.
Yeah, that's fair, a lot of free transfers. Of course, Theo Pafitas used to be your chairman, didn't he? Famed now for Dragon's Den, which is ironic, because if someone asks you how you're doing in the cup competitions or in the title race, you have to go, I'm out.
But you're a bit of a Mickey Mouse club, aren't you? All you've ever won is the GM Vauxhall Conference, the FA Trophy and a quiz night.
Nice. Of course, Millwall fans, a lot of them are such meatheads that you're sort of considered to be one of the more effeminate ones.
Well, you're not. Well, you're not so effeminate that you're considered to be one of the meatheads, Si.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Touche.
Of course, also, Len, with the way the London property market is, Bermondsey has become quite expensive real estate. Have you thought about letting out your trophy cabinet?
Oh, very good. But our club badge is a lion, strong, rugged and fearless. What's your one? A swan.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you might as well have a picture of Alan Carr in a tutu. I don't know.
See, for basically coming on this show and representing Wycombe Wanderers, I'll probably get an honorary degree from Buxton University. Of course, for representing Millwall, you'll probably get shanked.
Yeah.
Right, we're into Fergie time, guys. Fergie time.
Oh, Fergie time. All right.
Millwall been to Wembley 4 times in the last 12 years. Last time you went to Wembley was see a Justin Bieber concert.
That's fair. He's very good. He's a very talented
And
man.
I see you got your football shirt on tonight. I was going to wear mine, but then I remembered I'm not 6 years old anymore.
Oh, that burns. That really burns.
Oh,
see us out!
There's a whistle. There we go.
Oh, well done, sir.
Come and join us, guys. Great battle, great battle. Come and join us, come and join us. Fantastic match there between Wycombe and Millwall.
Sorry,
Got to go over there, Si.
Go in the middle, lovely.
How did you find that, Lenny?
Yeah, fun.
Yeah?
Good fun, yeah.
Good look, good, clean but aggressive.
Yeah, it was
That's what I
nice
like.
to have a bit of banter with an opposing fan without it turning to violence.
How many football shows would you see a West Ham and a Millwall fan sitting on the same sofa?
What? Hold on.
Help me, Richard. So how'd you find that, mate?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'm glad that words are a thing, because if that was just a fight, it'd batter me.
Dean, this is the difficult part, mate.
I mean,
you've got to choose a winner, pal.
I think we need a replay.
It was tight.
In 3 weeks. That is really tough, and I'm not just saying it to be polite. I would have put it as a draw, but I quite like the comeback on the effeminate joke.
It was good.
It was a very, and
really
that was.
Good.
I assume that was spontaneous. You haven't been scripted it next door. So I think probably just because of that on the feet, I thought that was quite a good comeback.
Go Millwall for the win, then.
Probably, but I did like the intro as well with the sticks and stones and the.
He's on the fence, but I think he said Millwall. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll go Millwall, and
right.
as long as I can use all your jokes in my cartoon.
Congratulations, Millwall.
Oh, thank you.
It's fair.
Fair play, guys. You mind sticking around for a little bit? We talked a bit of football.
Lovely, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, now it's time for the IMO 11. Dean, we're going to come to you for this bit. We have the IMO 11, which we've been growing as the series has been going. Okay, started off with 11 players that I put in. It's slowly been changing as people have come on the show and suggested new players to go on there. Last week we saw Thierry Henry inducted by Hugh Wizzy himself. So I think the team's quite strong.
Yep.
I think it's going to be quite difficult to squeeze someone in there, but your job is to make a case, and you guys at home are going to decide whether they get in or not. So who would you like to put in, and who would you like to take out?
I'd like to put in Roberto Soldado. Failing that, Simone Zaza. But my final and most serious choice would be Paul Gascoigne in for Del Piero.
Okay, so you're getting Gaza.
Yeah.
For Del Piero, a similar sort of position to be fair.
I think looking at that diamond as well, and the main reason being, not only is it based on football, but it needs a bit of charisma, it needs a bit of character in that team. Not the Brendan Rodgers character, the personality character. And, you need someone, you need a bit of a wild card, an eccentric genius, someone in there picking them up, and I think he would do really well in behind the front two, causing chaos.
Okay.
In his prime.
So you guys are going to vote on this. Click the I button in the top right-hand corner. Should Gaza take Del Piero's place? What do you think?
Yeah.
You're going Gaza in there, Si?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Gaza play. Anytime I saw him play was for Middlesbrough against Wycombe, and he was obviously a bit washed up then and kind of a little weight. Best player on the pitch by a country mile. It was quality, but I've never seen Del Piero play.
Yeah, Del Piero didn't play against Wycombe much.
No.
Rich, I think you're a Gaza fan, aren't you, Rich?
Yeah, I'm a massive Gaza fan, just for the goal against Scotland in Euro 96.
And just to swing the vote as well, you'd be able to organise fishing trips for the players and also merchandise. I mean, you could have the T-shirts, the tiers. It's going to bring a lot of revenue for the team.
Okay, this could be a difficult one to fight against. My case for Del Piero to stay in there, I'm going to say, you're saying we need some personalities in there. I think we've got a little bit of lively personalities. We've got the headbutter Zidane in there.
That's a one-off, though.
We've got Davids in there. He's a lively. He got stuck in and all sorts. I think we've got some strong characters.
I mean, more personality and a bit of humour and keep the spirits up at those when you've.
How many things did Gaz actually win though? Because that personality is great, but does it actually help you win trophies? Del Piero's won all sorts.
You could say the same about Shearer.
I didn't put Shearer in there.
Spent most of his career at Newcastle, but still one of the greatest Premier League strikers there's ever been.
I didn't put Shearer in there, but then my defence would be that I did put Paolo Di Canio in there, so it wasn't like he was a great shout either.
I think every team needs that sort of impetuous trouble genius somewhere in the middle of it. You know, to be a true legend, that's Gazza, and there's not many like him.
And
really.
I'm assuming he's fit and in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, not now.
No, I'm not going off his career.
Talk about Tottenham.
He's had a better career.
Maybe early years Tottenham Gazza.
And certainly England, my first memories.
Yeah, that Scotland game and that was that FA Cup against
96,
that free kick.
96, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it wouldn't hurt the team. It wouldn't hurt the team. It would be a clean swap. I like Del Piero, but I think Gazza would do bits in there as well. But it's you guys to decide. Click I. We're going to have a look at the hashtag challenge. When we come back, we'll reveal whether Gazza has made it into the team. The hashtag challenge, of course, this week is going to be a little bit different because Mr. Richard Beck hasn't actually done it yet. You haven't actually done the hashtag challenge. You weren't there on the day when we did the challenges. No. You're going to do it eventually.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't want to do it. He's going to have to do it eventually. But this week instead, we're going to show my hashtag challenge because I actually took part in it, and we're going to see obviously on the leaderboard in terms of where I come because I think we've got 3 on there already. We've seen Nash. Yep. We've seen Manji. Let's take a look at the leaderboard now as it stands, actually. And we can see... are we going to look at the leaderboard first? Apparently not going to look at the leaderboard first. OK, we're going to look at the video first. We're going to look at the video, see how I did. I've got to be... I think... Who's top of the league right now? We had Nash, we had Manji and Stevens. I think Nash is at the top right now. Stevens' time let himself down a little bit. Well, he didn't actually let himself down. I thought he did all right. But we're going to take a look at my video, see how I did in the hashtag challenge. Then we'll reveal on the leaderboard whether I'm at the top, whether I'm at the bottom, or whether I'm somewhere in the middle. Let's take a look. Let's do this. On your marks, get set, go. Okay, I've set off here. Got my garish green boots on. What do you think so far? I mean, Rich, you've seen every show. You know how people's pace has been. Am I going to compete at this pace?
That pace is ridiculous, like a blur.
I think that's looking pretty good.
That's the first bit. That's the first couple of 100 metres or so. We're about hitting halfway. It's going to be about 380 metres in total, the sprint. We're about halfway now.
So you want 1/8 at the minute. You just need a...
I've got the Tash, haven't I? This is obviously filmed pre-shaving the Tash.
The challenging bit is running past Jacka.
Yeah, this is the scary bit. We've got the scariest man in football in goal. What's he doing?
This is looking good.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Our pace is okay. I'm a little bit worried at this point about the penalties system. I want to not pick up, obviously, any 5-second penalties for missing a hurdle or hitting a cone, and then I've got to score my goal. If I don't score my goal, 15 seconds gets added to my time. So what do you think about the jumping technique? My legs are pretty heavy at this point, guys.
It's like Colin Jackson in his prime.
I get that a lot.
I've seen a similar technique in the Grand National.
Right, so I've managed to get past the hurdles. No hurdles missed, so no penalties yet. If I hit a cone or miss a cone, I'm gonna lose 5 seconds for each one. I'm not going through it very quick, but I'm going through quickly.
Steady wins the
This is game pace for you.
Literally, I've got to score now, so I'm gonna lose 15 seconds. Can I score? Bang! Yes!
Oh, it's a clean run.
It went through the hole in the net.
Jacko's taking a bung for that one.
Quick replay here. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent, to be fair, I was quite happy with that finish.
Done it with the eyes, haven't you?
Yeah,
Jacko do anything.
I was going to go short.
Yeah.
So, no penalties. It's the first person we've seen not to have a penalty. As we see here the current leaderboard. Nash lost 5 seconds because he missed a hurdle. Both Manji and Stevens missed their shot. They didn't score. So straight away I've got that advantage. As long as my time was quicker, I'll be top of the leaderboard. The question is, was it quicker than 1 minute 28? What do you think? Am I going to be top?
Yes.
You saying top?
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Let's have a look. Am I top of the hashtag challenge? Yes, I am. 1:16.95. So that is the score to beat, guys. I was pretty happy with that. I've got a 12-second advantage on current second place, but there's a lot more hashtag players that we have recorded still to do it, and there's a few we haven't recorded, like yourself, Rich Beck. Yep. Where do you think you'll fall within that when you eventually do it?
I'll be happy with anything sub 5 minutes.
I think you can probably do that. Okay, we're going to find out whether the IMO 11 vote was won by yourself, Dean.
I'm not confident.
You're not confident? I think Gazza will edge this easy.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll find out. Is Gazza in the IMO 11? Let's take a look. What have people been saying? 80!
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's one of the biggest ones yet.
I think that deserves a high five.
Fair play. Fair play. You've done well there. Yeah, I thought he'd do it, and that is one of the biggest margins yet. So every single week, someone has come into the team. This is the new look squad now. Is it stronger?
Yeah.
More personality, I'll give you that. Yeah. We've got Gazza in there now. My question is going to be, who's going to be the next person to be taken out? Because last week we saw John Barnes, who'd just gone in the week before, get taken out straight away. Could that be what happens to Gazza?
I think so, yeah. It's a good position as well, as a lot of flair players there. easy to swap in and out.
Rich, if you were going to add anyone to it, who would you add in? Because you would have put Shearer in anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
probably?
Shearer's probably the standout one for me.
Rule Fox?
Rule Fox.
Tino Asprilla?
Tino Asprilla, yeah. All Newcastle based. But Gaz's a Geordie, isn't he? Yeah.
I'd like to see Terry Earlock.
Of course he is.
I don't know who that is.
Terry. Instead of Pirlo, definitely.
Similar sort of player.
Yeah, very similar.
Right.
I mean, you've had.
Good luck winning that vote.
You've had Akinfenwa on here. Why is he not in there?
Well, Akinfenwa was the one that put John Barnes in, to be fair.
Right. Imagine him and Henry up front. Akinfenwa.
Yeah.
Quality.
I mean, that would be Shearer and Akinfenwa. You wouldn't want to come up against them, would you? It'd be a powerful one. All right, now it's time for the Q&A. This is where we address the questions that you guys have been tweeting in all day, stuff we haven't already covered on the show, of course. So let's take a look at what you guys have been saying. The IMO Q&A. What should Ibra do after this amazing season for him? Leave Man United, go to MLS, or retire this season? What would you do if you were Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
I want it to stay.
You wanted to stay?
Yeah.
I want to keep seeing him in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah. But
he seems to have proven that he's got what it takes to play at this age still.
Yeah, he's not got, is there not the option to stay?
Yeah, I think that's goes on. I think he's just not mentioned it because maybe it's assumed that's what he'll do.
Right.
But yeah,
I'd like to see him stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I think he's got about 3 years in the top level, especially this day and age. You know, what's he now? He's only about 63, isn't he?
Well, I think he's 35, but he's also the oldest player ever to score 15 goals or more in the Premier League season.
But he's brilliant.
And it's not even anywhere near finished yet. What, you want him to stay or?
Well, I think he will, but it's again who did they buy in the summer? Because I can't imagine he'd be first choice next year. And then if he's not happy to be first choice, does he want another payday or another challenge? I don't know. Yeah, I think he should stay.
There's a lot of question marks with the Man United attack. What's happening with Martial? Mourinho doesn't seem to like him. Yeah. Obviously, Zlatan's getting older. Rooney potentially could leave as well. So there could be a lot of openings. There's no reason why Zlatan couldn't stay, and they could go and bring in a big name alongside him.
Yeah.
It depends on how Rashford does the rest of the season, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Because he could just take his place next season, potentially.
Yeah, true.
And also, if they get top 4, Ibrahimovic might want another crack at the Champions League.
And he could stay and he could just play half the games at that age. He'd probably still be quite happy.
If he's happy, if he's happy to do that.
I think they'll give him another season at least.
Yeah, I think they should. They'd be mad not to. Let's take a look at a next question. This one is from Daryl Selby, good friend of the show. He's a professional squash player, I'll have you know. He says, will Klopp ever win the Hallowed Premier League for Liverpool? He's a Liverpool fan, I do believe, Daryl. He says within the next 3 years. Do you think Klopp will do it?
Yeah, I think he will.
You think he will?
Yeah, I'd like to see it as well, yeah.
I think everyone likes Klopp, don't they?
Yeah, he's done it in Germany. Yeah, I think he will, next 3 years. Yeah.
It's got a lot of competition. Do you think you can see Klopp win?
Depends on top 4 this year and recruitment in the summer, really, because if they miss out on that again, it's who they can attract. And, you know, he's obviously very good at getting the best out of lesser players, perhaps, but that only takes you so far. And who he's up against, I'd probably say no.
You say no?
Yeah,
yes,
I think it's the strength and depth that Liverpool lack. You know, look, when Coutinho got injured and Mane's obviously been at a Cup of Nations. The moment them two gone, it's fallen apart for them.
And the defence is just nowhere near title winning.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing Klavan. I know Matip looks good, but he's been injured, and you know, Lovren's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But there's a few players in that spine that he needs to add real quality, I think.
Rich, yes or no? Are they going to do it in 3 years?
Not for me, no. I don't think they're.
Not Firmino, he got the player's name in his answer.
Yeah, very good.
That's a skill, not Firmino.
Yeah, meant to do it.
Not Firmino, is that his brother? Right, so a couple of people saying yes. I probably think he can do it, but I think ultimately he won't because I just think there's too much competition he's facing. Let's take a look at another question coming up. This one is from Seb, who's not here today, but he's usually behind the camera somewhere. He says, is Sanchez a Payet situation waiting to happen at Arsenal? Has he had enough, and is it affecting other players? I mean, it seems crazy that Sanchez and Ozil both still not wrapped up. Do you think he will end up leaving Arsenal?
I think he will. I don't think Arsenal are doing enough. I think they're not happy. The fans aren't happy with top 4 every season. It's just not enough. Every year in January, Wenger comes out and says, we don't need to add anyone. You do.
Yeah.
Every year the same thing happens. You fade away. If he added 2 or 3 players in January, then you don't know what's going to happen because he's never done it before.
No, exactly.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of talk about the Sanchez and Ozil contract situations, but is the bigger contract talk actually Arsene Wenger's contract? I mean, that for me is going to have an effect on all the future transfers as long as he stays. So his policy, a lot of Arsenal fans don't like it. I know we don't have any Arsenal fans here, but would you think Wenger should stay or leave Arsenal?
Well, I'm I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I've always been a big fan of Wenger and what he's done for the club, and I think Arsenal fans sometimes forget that, what he's done. So, I mean, I know the game's changed in the time he's been there, but they've always been there or thereabouts. They're Champions League, I know, again, not winning it, but they always qualify. I think it'd be very harsh to get rid of Wenger. And also, who's going to replace him? All the big guns are in clubs now, really.
I think you'd have to accept, if they did get rid of Wenger, you'd have to accept a Man United transition period where you don't do anything. You might miss out on top 4 for a few years, but eventually, at some point, unless he dies as manager, they're going to have to deal with getting rid of him. It's something they're going to have to face. Do you think Sanchez should stay at Arsenal? Or do you think he should move on? He's a great player.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see him stay. I'd like to see him stay in the Premier League. I'd like to see Arsenal progress. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I like him and I like Wenger. But I've got a feeling he might call it a day at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling, you know, he's getting a lot of aggravation, and it does seem to have gone a bit stale. And you see them, they're all fighting each other at the games apparently, and like, it's a bit of a mess, to be honest with you. But they do need. I'd have liked to have seen Klopp go there a few years ago.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
He would have been a good manager if they could get someone like that. But I think, he's excellent manager and all the rest of it. I think he's had his day though. It's time for they need a change.
Long time he's been at the club. We've got one more question, and this one is from Nicholas as Stag. He says, which club does 442 support? This is interesting because no one knows what club you support.
Well, some people, no one. I don't announce it on my channel.
No,
just to be impartial.
And you're not going to announce it today, are you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I did promise I'd do it. I'd reveal my club at 1 million subscribers, and I'm currently about 3,000 away. So.
Wow, we're going to see that happen soon then.
It's probably tomorrow or the day after, maybe. So
it's massive.
Should reveal my club hopefully in the next few days.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Congratulations in advance, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's going to do it. If you don't know 442oons, get involved. There's a link in the description to everyone's Twitters and YouTubes and whatnot. But yeah, definitely check it out. Stickers. It's sticker time, guys. I need everyone. We're gonna try and do more stickers today because we've got a lot of room. So I need everyone to pick a pack. So pick yourself a pack there, guys. What do you want? We've got Premier League 2013.
I've got 95, please.
95 is a great shout.
I completed that one back in the day.
Premier League 2013, Premier League 2007-8. We've got current.
I'll take 7-8 actually.
7-8, Rich.
Retro, yeah.
You've got
the 90s.
I don't think we've got any 90s here right now. We've got Euros. We've got current Premier League. We've got Premier League 2013. Do you want that one?
Oh, my Newcastle might have actually been
2007-8. You got Michael Owen Newcastle on the cover there. It's a swap set.
2007, 2008.
So I still don't think Millwall will be in there, mate. No. Open up the packs, and you guys have got to pick one sticker from your pack that you want to stick on the wall, and they'll stay on the wall forever. We've currently got No Pamaro of Portsmouth, John Barnes, John Hartson of Wimbledon, and Fabregas and Cazorla of Spain.
No Pamaro.
No Pamaro is a niche one.
Well, that is
very
niche
one.
I'm nervous about opening.
Do we do badges?
You're not going to go there, are you?
Oh yeah.
What do we do with badges? Are they out?
You can go anything you want. Anything you want in there. Just give us.
Oh,
Liverpool shiny.
You've got a shiny Liverpool.
Shay Given.
So what are you going for? Are you nominating? You can do swapsies with each other, by the way, if you want. He's got Shay Given over
I've got 2 West Ham.
I've got a Liverpool shiny.
Liverpool
shiny. I mean, I've got some terrible players.
I've actually got 3 West Ham players.
He's quite good,
oh no,
Benny McCarthy.
Right, what are you going with, guys? Give us a name. Give us a sticker.
All right, I've picked mine. A tiny little one here. I've gone for Benny McCarthy.
Oh, that's a little one.
I think he got me some fantasy football points one season. He had a good end to season.
Interesting fact about Benny McCarthy, because he came to West Ham for a little bit. One game, he covered less ground than our goalkeeper. we got him towards the end of his career. He was getting a bit out of shape. And he covered less ground than our goalkeeper in a 90-minute match. So it's unbelievable. So he's going to go on.
I like that sticker as well. It's good.
Who've you got?
Alonso, please.
Oh, not too chubby Alonso. That's a big one. I like that. We'll go chubby Alonso as well then. Lovely. So stick them on here. Who else we got, boys?
You going? Me.
After you.
Dimitar Berbatov.
Oh, Spurs.
Spurs, yeah. Those days. Back in the heyday.
Dimitar Berbatov. Oh, it's another one of these ones, is it? So look, we go Dimitar Berbatov. Very, he's a luxury player, but a fantastic player.
He wanted to sign for Newcastle in January.
Where is he now? Russia or somewhere? Where's he playing?
I don't think he's got a club. He flew to London, didn't he, on transfer deadline day?
We're
With
just trying to
nobody
make the
offering
move
him
happen.
anything. Yeah, just flew to London. It's just like, somebody give me a club.
Martin Keown.
Manager of my Wembley Cup team 2 years in a row. Martin Keown, absolute legend, and a great little haircut there.
Yeah, that's the main for the haircut.
Take a look at that. Is he good, that permed?
Nice fringe.
Is that
It looks like it. I mean, he has got curly hair, but that looks a bit blow-dried, if you ask me.
That's beautiful. 1995, Martin Keown. We'll stick him in there. There we go. Fantastic. So we've got a nice little wall growing there. Well done, guys. That's not very sticky because it's from 1995. We'll have to get another one down there. Thanks very much, guys. We're getting to the end of the show now. Before we finish, we need to reveal the results of IMO, the IMO mass debate, of course. Right. The question was, are Leicester going to go down? Do you think they're going to go down?
Yeah.
Everyone said yes so far. What's Si saying?
Oh, I'll say no.
Okay.
I just think that there's some bad teams there. Although, of course, changing managers has given a lot of them a resurgence, but I think they'll stay out.
All right, we've got one person here that thinks they're going to stay up. Everyone else has said they're going to go down. But what did you guys think? Are Leicester going to get relegated? Let's have a look in a second. The poll results are apparently still changing. We're going to wait to see. We want to put the most up-to-date poll results on the screen. I think we've got them now. We're going to put them up on the screen in a couple of seconds. Adam's just asking for a few seconds, so we're just going to stall.
Is he counting them like manually? Yeah.
Right. Apparently the vote has flipped in the last 2 seconds. I'm wondering maybe whether it's a tight one. It could be a tight one.
Your influence.
If you're watching this post-live show, because you can obviously watch it back, not live, you can still have your say. You can still vote. It won't impact what I'm about to say now, obviously, because that would involve time travel. But are we ready to show the results, Adam? We're ready. Okay, he's told me. The winner of the debate, or not the winner, but is Leicester going to go down? The answer to that question is yes, it's 52%.
That is tight.
Apparently, about a minute ago when we started preparing to put it on the screen, it was 52% no. And it's literally flipped.
People don't trust, people don't trust your football knowledge.
They were going to say no. He said yeah. Okay, rid of him.
My influence.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the poll says a week from now when people watch the video afterwards. But currently, as we stand on the live show, 52% of people think Leicester are going to go down. Whether they do will remain to be seen. That's the end of the show, guys. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Big thanks to all my guests. You can check out Lenny, Size, Rich and Dean's or 442oons links in the description. I've enjoyed the show. Hopefully you have too. Subscribe for more. We'll see you next time on IMO Live. Until then, don't go changing. Bye-bye. Cheers, guys.